So guys, we're back for another episode of the End Product Podcast. Thanks a lot for everyone who's listening and joining us. Tony, Stish, good to see you again. We were just talking about the crazy market that is the goalkeepers at the moment.
Yeah, I know Tony's been hot on the market for a goalkeeper for the last few days. Any joy yet, Tony?
My head's gone, lads. My head is gone. I can't get one. I've just admitted defeat. I don't know what I want. I've got a few names there. We'll try and get them up. The boy Philip Mesler, is it? Is he one? Is it
That rings a
Mesler?
bell.
From Austria? Something.
Oh, Menzel.
Menzel. Getting them mixed up. How do you spell that? He's one. The other one's Volkan Babakar. And then I'm just going to... I might even try and play the game. Get a couple of number 2s and hope for the best.
Yeah, sometimes a safe option in it to try and buy the backup as well as the number 1 if the price is right. But yeah, the market's insane. I was looking at the Joe Hart chart. Well, I looked initially at the Diogo Costa because I saw his price and I thought, wow, when did he get to that price? So I looked at the chart and his price has doubled in the last 5 weeks. And then I looked at Joe Hart and his is pretty much the same. So I don't know if this is a pattern that's beginning of like goalkeeper prices just doubling if like they're nailed on starter. You know, if they're an under 23 as well. Wow. I mean, Diogo Costa's going to be more expensive than Donnarumma, I think, at this rate.
It's going to go, isn't it? Going to go.
For sure. I've just moved on a bunch of keepers as well over the last month. Like, I think about 2 weeks ago, I sold like a few backup goalkeepers, guys like Milos Vilar and I can't remember somebody else that's kind of like that, but as well. And I got like really good money for them, like in terms of ETH, fiat, everything, you know. And I had to get back in with some MLS goalkeepers that I'd sold. I just got a Sean Johnson today, but that cost me 0.78 ETH, which I thought was, But it's pretty much where the auctions will probably go as well, to be honest. There's not, and again, the problem with like Joe Hart a little bit, is Celtics, the SPFL in total, same as MLS at the moment, is the auction cycle is so slow. So like when there is auctions of these guys, it's like piranhas, everybody's in with the bids, you know.
Yeah. They go straight in now, don't they, as well? They put the price literally like, so the next bid is above the floor price. So like it makes you just buy the cheapest
That's what
card.
I was trying to explain to Quinny. That
cheeky.
You need to be in with the last bid in terms of, you need to make sure if somebody's going for instance, 0.5, you need to put a 0.475 bid in, 0.48, so that you know you're maybe getting 0.02 discount, but the next one would need to overpay.
Yeah.
You need to make sure, and it's just mad. All the prices are mad just now. Cal McGregor's going for 0.356, the last offer.
Do you think this is just the market coming back in line where the ETH dip has happened? People are just starting to price back at like dollar values instead of ETH, maybe.
I think for limiteds and rares, I think the ETH valuations will move with fiat. Like there is movement there, no two ways about it. But it does feel like, because like I've been selling stuff into the market, people have been coming and buying it, you know, in terms of like, I sold a Nooble to fund Sean Johnson basically. So I sold Nooble for an ETH, bought Sean Johnson for 0.78, so I've got 0.22 left over to maybe go and get a backup or do something with it, who knows. But you know, it's not like just that the auctions are like that. It's, you know, the market itself is nipping about still, even with secondary auctions, and that's not really down to the price of ETH. That's ETH in people's wallets.
True. Yeah, it's mad. It is mad. I got rid of a few keepers as well. You mentioned I got rid of my Svilar as well. I think I got 0.31 for him a few weeks back.
Yeah,
the same. He's not gonna start at Roma, is he?
No,
he's off there this summer.
You never know, by the way.
Sorry?
You never know, because for some reason they could get rid of Patricio and he could be straight in there.
Oh, it was just not worth the risk for me. But I think that's probably what the people bought him for. Because at 0.31 for a U23, if he is at Roma, a good side, he's going to get midweek football there. We were talking about that last week. You know, if he does get the number 1, then that is a good punt for someone.
You get 2 years.
But yeah, I lost a couple of goalies as well. Like one of my goalies retired, Koffler, and then Mulder. Yeah, retired. So don't go buying him. Got rid of him on the cheap. I think I got about 80 quid for him, which I'll take it. I would have taken anything at the point. He retired. I thought, that's it. Get rid of him. And I had to get rid of Mulder as well at Heerenveen.
Oh yeah.
His contract is being like they're not renewing his contract. Apparently, he's been linked to go back to Swansea to be like the backup goalie there. I thought I don't need another backup goalkeeper. So managed to get a little bit of ETH back for him. But yeah, like I said, like I'm in the same boat as you. I really need probably a challenger. And given some of the cards I've got, I probably shouldn't buy a cheap keeper. I should get, if I've got like someone like Joey Veerman super rare to use next season, there's no point pairing that with like a goalkeeper who's going to like score a 30 or something, is there? Just kind of takes this thing.
What about Sinambola? Everybody reckons his price is just shooting. Everybody reckons she's got to go back and start. I've got one in my gallery, but
nice.
He could end up. I paid 0.55 for him, but I got Davy Rowe for like 0.3, sold him for 0.45. So I kind of look at that as if I've paid 0.4 for him, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Plus I got utility out roof. So, because I put the two of them off together, but he could be one. I'm expecting big things for him because he cost a fortune. Why did he cost so much before?
I think Bola, I don't think he had a lot of issues before. I remember people pure loving his card because I can't remember what it was. I think maybe he transferred somewhere for like maybe a year, maybe 6 months, and they didn't get cards, and wherever he went, he scored really well. Maybe I think
his numbers are brilliant.
That wrong, but I think he was one of those guys that didn't have many issues with a card for a while, kind of like a Ruben Diaz or like Ferran Torres for ages. Some of those, they transfer away, then they become better.
He's got some scores, good scores, to be honest. He probably landed at a decent team.
I actually, for the first time today, started putting together like a little bit of a spreadsheet of like what my sort of strongest lineups were in all the divisions to try and figure out who to get rid of and where I need to strengthen or who I need to like upgrade.
That's good fun, isn't it?
Yeah. It made me realise though, like my challenger goalkeeper situation is like, it really relies on Muric. I need Muric to get another loan and he needs to go to a challenger side. So yeah, I'm panicking because I'm seeing the price of these goalkeepers and I just wonder, have I left it too late? Another thing I'm looking at is like, I've got a half decent like America Pro side. When Castellanos loses his U23, I'm going to have to use him in America or All-Star. And like my America team, putting Castellanos in it again is like, I'm wasting a great card there if I don't have a strong team around it.
Yeah.
It's just like...
It's still a good All-Star card, but...
Yeah, I've got Cecilia as well, and I've got like... It's just like, when you want to try and get another team out somewhere, but the one thing you can't really plan for, like super long term, is what you're going to do week to week in the specials, like the weeklies. And that throws a spanner in the works, because if you do find yourself with a couple of decent cards who are like under 40 average or under 45 or under 50, whatever the score that you need is that week, sometimes like those tournaments are much more appealing in terms of like your chance for a decent score, because like some of them you can get like a 280 or a 300 and bag a card, versus like All-Star, which is great if you get a card. If you have like a high scoring All-Star team, you're laughing, but if you can have an average scoring like specialist, you can bag a half decent prize now.
I think, see, with the top end of the specialist thing, like you can only have one player that averages over 60 or whatever, 65, whatever it is. I don't see that many players in my gallery. Not to say I've got the best gallery in the world or whatever, but I don't get that many cards that are excluded from that. If I go into specialists and I've got like 4 limiteds that are like over 65 average, it's like, oh, I've got a problem. But most of the time it's like 1 or 2, really. Yeah. So like, see, when I won that Talis Magno limited, that was the first thing I thought, is like, no matter what, he plays in that specialist limited team now every week, because I've not got a U23 non-EU goalkeeper, so I'm not going to go buy one, but I'll just put him in. It doesn't matter what his score ever is, because he will, we can always play in it. So I think you can a little bit with some pieces, maybe. It depends how your gallery's built, I suppose. It means it's quite thin, very limited.
I've been moving a few of my limiteds on. The thing with limiteds is like the market's so liquid for them, but I find that I'm often taking a loss, because I'll buy a limited to enter a specialist or something, and then a couple of weeks down the line, he's like worth half what I paid for him. I don't know about you, if either of you have been buying like the odd limited here and there to fill out those special weeklies, like the little 2-3 quid purchases, and then having to move them on for like 50p a few weeks later.
I'm trying to clean up my gallery there now. 100%. Very similar. I'm just trying to. I don't know if it's OCD, because I don't think I've got OCD. Who knows? Maybe I'll get diagnosed in this podcast. But I'm just trying to get rid of most of them, and I'm putting them up for the cheapest prices possible. And,
yeah.
But to be fair, see, when you add it up, if you get your little, I don't know, 0.01s and 0.008s, and they all add up.
They do.
Soon coming to a decent little pot, but I think I had like 43 and now I've only got 25, and now my ETH balance is up at 0.66, and
nice.
Can't give anybody it for a goalie.
Yeah. This is mad, isn't it? Like literally a few weeks ago, you could have probably bought 2 for that.
Two decent
good ones as well. Yeah. Yeah, because like I think I was listing my molder who was playing at the time. I was listening because I was not sure what was going to happen at the end of the season, and I was listing him at 2, and that was cheap. I was like, that's a good price for a goalkeeper who's starting. But yeah, if you got 0.3 back like 3-4 weeks ago, 0.3 for a keeper, you get a half decent goalkeeper.
Yeah,
I would never pay that for a goalkeeper.
It's mad, isn't it?
I just couldn't. I don't know why.
I've got loads of friends who have been sort of like putting off buying that rare goalie before like all the thresholds change, and wait for postseason when the prices come down. And we're looking at it today, and I'm like, do you know what? I don't think prices are coming down. I think this is it. Like,
I don't think prices will come down because the ETH crash. I
yeah,
think it would have
potentially. Yeah,
looking at history, I'd not played the game long enough, but obviously hearing you guys talk about history and stuff. For instance, if something was 0.2 and that's £100, I know that's not how the ETH works out, but I'm going to do it for numbers' sake. And ETH's crashed down to £50. If that was going to drop down to 0.1 on the off season,
yeah, it's not doing that now, is it?
It's not doing it because it's still going to be worth £50. So 0.2 is worth only £25 or whatever. It's going to go up to 0.3.
Yeah.
So see if you work on ETH, you're screwed. But see if you're happy to put money in, you'll get people cheaper probably, because if it's pounds and working on ETH, everybody's asking me for more ETH. Or I work in pounds whenever you're doing a deal, but that doesn't suit me.
That old chestnut.
Yeah, they're not daft. They must see me coming with that wee tick next to my name and think, right, this guy's got a gallery like PK and that.
I done that actually because I had an offer from Dante Vanzia for one of my cards.
Oh, nice.
Right. And he sent me an awful offer, but there was a part of me that really didn't want to like say no. Like I wanted to talk back to him and be like, I don't want to say no to you because like I own you limited and you're a good player, but that's an awful offer. Sorry, Dante. You're gonna have to come back harder than that.
What's his gallery?
He was after my Asta of Ranks. I think he's picked one up. I was looking at his gallery not too long ago. I think he got one, but he was sent an offer for my Vranks card. I've got like one of his, what would be his rookie. No, it's not his rookie actually. There is one the season before from the one I had, but he must have just wanted one for his gallery.
He's got a weird gallery. He's got so many commons, but he's not got a lot of cards, to be honest.
Yeah, I was looking at it a few weeks ago. Yeah, I think he picked up a Vranks.
Vranks is good.
Who's that?
Yeah, he's not a very good SO5 scorer though.
Nah, he's one of these guys that's just not. There's a few midfielders. Also, the Matrix is designed to try and make sure that other guys that are like like when we've seen like Vinicius Souza do really well, like he wasn't scoring goals or making assists in it. He was just bossing the game, like Sangar, Fearman to an extent as well. When those guys get decisives, but there's some midfielders that just don't quite. They're not quite attacking enough, and they're not quite defensive enough either. And I think he's maybe Asta Ranks. He's maybe one of those guys.
Kante's another good example of that because Kante
Kante scores in a long time actually.
But I remember looking at him because I got an offer for one, like a swap, and I thought, oh, Kante, that would be a good card. And I looked at his scores, and I was surprised how low they were. I was like, he touches the ball so much, but they're mostly middle of the park passes. Into a couple interceptions, but not many tackles. And yeah, I was really surprised when I looked at Kante's SO5 score, and it was just like I was expecting it to be ridiculous, and it wasn't. Someone who's on the ball as much as he is.
Yeah, it is decent. Like he's got a 70 on 80 and a 1-0 home win to West Ham, and a 66 on 80 one each with Man United, but it's not like, it's quite few and far between the big AA games. Sometimes it's a decisive propping him up, and that's not something you expect he's going to need when he does. So that's a bit.
Well, I don't want to sidetrack these, but I'm in a rabbit hole here. I've just ended up down a dodgy path, and I've ended up on a guy called Giacomo Vrioni. You heard of him?
Vrioni, yeah.
Vrioni,
He's on loan from Juventus into the Austrian league, right?
Yeah. He's
I bought my brother a limited of his for Christmas.
Oh, there you go.
Sent it to him and got to put it in a card. I was like, have a look at your Sorare gallery. Bought him a little Vrioni for Christmas. He's a good player. Good player.
Yeah, I'm just looking at that just now. He's 18 goals, 4 assists. Not too bad at all.
A couple of my mates have got him, picked him up. I think one of my friends owned his rare, and he was saying like they're both just talking about him, saying that they're desperate that he gets another loan, because I think his contract might be up at Juventus this summer as well. I might be wrong about that. But
I might end up trying to get him.
I mean, he looks a good. Does he still have U23 next season as well?
Yeah, one more year.
Yeah, I mean, if he goes back to Austria, he'd be banging.
But he could end up at like I don't know, or something. Belgium, Holland, because his numbers are all right, and he's Albanian, so he'll have utility.
Yeah. On the fringe of the international setup there, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's got a couple of caps.
I might throw a wee dodgy offer in with somebody. Who knows?
Yeah, I wish I picked up a rare of his, to be fair.
That's what I'm going to try.
Never did.
I've just put in...
Talking about AA, I actually won a really good tier 3 this week. I'm going to go into my gallery and remind myself of his name, but he plays at Antwerp. Here we go. Al Hassan Yusuf, 20-year-old midfielder. And his last game of the season, he picked up a 75 against Union. And I thought, let me have a little look at this guy. Because a tier 3, I normally not really expect much at all. But he's just been called up for the Nigeria squad as well. So he's going to make, for the friendlies coming up. I don't think they're covered. I think some of the Nations League games are covered, but I don't think they're covering a lot of the friendlies and stuff. Pretty sure. But I was pretty happy with that for a tier 3 super.
Not bad.
Looking at his scores, his all around insane. Talking about all around, he picked up an all around score of 39.6 in the last game against Union.
Quality.
If he can do that often next season, that'll be a great card to have. So I'm not looking to move him on.
That's a good
fit. All are good.
I think with some of the goalkeeper stuff at the moment, I kind of made a decision on some of these guys. It is just it's better to get a good one that definitely starts and just kind of use it as the gatekeeper to the division, if you know what I mean. So for U23, the price of them, it's hard to get in. And the price of a speculative one is what it is, and that's the dance you've got to do sometimes. But if I didn't have Van der Vaart, that's the sort of thing you're kind of looking to get. Is just a guy that's nailed on. Or also Joe Hart's probably one of the big things for Challenger All-Star.
Yeah. The only problem is if you buy an under 23 goalkeeper for underneath, there's probability he's got to have no hands on him.
Yeah, I was looking though at Safonov, but then I think Safonov is priced in because of the lack of midweek where they're not going to be playing in Europe.
Yeah,
obviously
it's a small division.
No one knows if Russian players are going to be like...
Who's that?
Safonov.
Matvey Safonov. He's the Krasnodar keeper, but he's being linked to Zenit as well. I keep seeing loads of Zenit links.
I love him at Krasnodar, man.
Oh yeah, if he went to Zenit, I mean, he'd put up a lot more clean sheets. Be great. I hold a Safonov. Just a bit, gutted about the situation for him for Europe. He's not gonna get a look in at Europe while Russia are doing what they're doing, and international as well, because he's the Russia international keeper too. So I'm going to lose that utility on him. Really, really difficult, especially we talk about Diviv as well. When Russia had international, I had Safonov Diviv as a nice little defensive stack there. Great under 23 defensive stack that, but not going to get that utility out of it anytime soon. I don't think. I can't see FIFA, UEFA letting Russia back in anytime in the near future. I think that most people are probably looking at that because it looks like it's priced in. He definitely hasn't risen in price like some of the other goalies have. I think he's got a couple of seasons left of U23 as well, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't think Russia will be in it next year, and then possibly the year after, because I think they'll just take a stand, and Russia will probably become arrogant and not want to be in it. You know what it's like.
I can't see any ceasefire of any sort, and it'd have to be something like monumental to like be almost like a global apology for what they're doing, and they're not going to do that politically. That's not going to happen. So
I think Russia will be looking for a global apology.
Yeah, that's it. I think you're right. It's more likely to be like that. But yeah. So I think his price, looking at it, he is going like recent sales 0.85, which when you compare that to like Diogo Costa at like close to 3, it's got to be the utility, the lack of international, lack of Euro.
Plus 1
'cause
year.
he puts
How
up
long's
scores.
Diogo Costa got?
He's like 3/8 almost. I think 2.9 he's going for at the minute.
He's got an extra 1 year on him, Diogo Costa.
Oh yeah, there's that too. True.
We check similar players. Why don't we just make this a goalkeeper episode? I am struggling for a goalkeeper, and I can't tell you how frustrated I'm getting. The first time
really
I've cleared
tough.
my gallery out, ended up with a little bit of ETH, and I can't afford a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
We
was talking.
Katarski.
We was talking about, Katarski as well is an interesting one because he's on loan from Ajax to Zagreb.
I had a Katarski. I sold it. He's doing great in Croatia, but isn't he?
Yeah. I wonder if he'll be I wonder what Ajax are going to do about their number one, because that'll be a big spike whenever they announce like a goalkeeper signing.
He was brilliant because I had him on SofaScore, obviously, for notifications because he was in my gallery. So that's just the way he used to work before the Sorare data app. And when he got that loan to Croatia, I was getting notifications like all the time saying Katarski was in Team of the Week. And see when they announced that it was coming on and all, I was fucking jackpot. I only get 2 weeks out of him and his price went up. I had to sell him. But he's really good. Like, who knows where he goes next year, what happens with him, but he is like, does seem to be the part.
Play every week at Ajax.
If he goes back to Ajax and plays,
I mean, was that a crap team, and that's part of the reason he scored so well, because he was bailing them out, making all sorts of saves and stuff, which I suppose is probably a good thing for a goalkeeper, I guess. But
I'm maybe willing to get him.
I've got no idea where he is next season.
I mean, Ajax released Ratzi, one of their like under 21 under 23 keepers. Don't know where he's going, and then they've got the English lad. What's his name? What's the English keeper they got there? He's young, 17-year-old, I think he is. But they've got Gorta as well.
There's two of them. There's brothers.
Yes, Charlie Setford. And they've got Gorta. Gorta's probably like the most likely to be number one next season if they don't sign anyone, I think. Unless they give Pazfir another year, which they may well do.
Who do you think will be number one Ajax? Sorry, I was sending that offer.
Jay Gorta. He's 22, I think. Good goalkeeper. But whether or not, Pazfir or... Is Stecklenburg retiring? Is he staying another season?
No idea, man.
You can tell, you can almost feel the eyes on that Ajax like goalkeeper situation, because all of their reserve goalkeepers are not cheap on the platform. I think everyone's taking a little punt on there at the moment, trying to figure out who that number one's going to be. But if you look at their reserves, the young side, like Gorta's been putting up some really good performances, and I think Stecklenburg come out in the press, or Pazfir, one of the two of them, during the cup final, said, Gorta should be starting this, not me. So if the goalkeepers are saying that, saw that.
If he gets pissed off then, leaves, and then I'll buy, what's his face?
We were talking about Toby Layson as well. Like, he got a couple of games, didn't he? He caught a clean sheet at the end of the season. So when we were talking about him not that long ago, maybe he gets a loan. Maybe he does get that loan now. They're going to need to get... He's going to need some action, isn't he?
I seen the boy... is it Sommer? No. Who's the other guy? From... Soms, maybe? I have a nightmare. Who's the other guy from... What's the team that Menzel's at?
Klagenfurt.
Oh, you're right now who I'm talking about. Moser. M-O-S-E-R. I seen Lennart Moser. He's up for 0.2 now. 4.547. I don't know how that's worked out. I was considering buying him today. I think I might just go ahead and do that, as a backup, and just hope for the best.
Yeah, he's a backup.
Yeah, hope for the best that he becomes number one. Sorry, I'm doing that well. He's back up to Menzel, is it? But he played the last 2 games, and supposedly he's on loan from Union Berlin. So if he goes back there, he's got a utility till 2024. So if he goes back there and gets another loan, he's been at Cercle Bruges before. Maybe this time he's getting to an age where he wants to play games. He went on loan as a backup. Maybe he needs to play games. Supposedly he was brilliant against Salzburg in the last game of the season. Well, it was 1 each and he got 56 points.
Yeah, that's decent.
He made 8 saves, 6 from inside the box, diving save, GK smother. I don't know what that is, by the way. I need to know what a GK smother is.
It's like when they smother on top of the ball, like
their feet, right?
Aye, like, and they kill the play. But it's not always scored if they just do it for the sake of doing it. It's like if the ball's like played through and they come out and they smother the ball, like someone's tried to break offside or something.
Each other, and they go under him and he jumps over him or whatever. Would that be?
Yeah,
aye,
at your feet,
a sliding smother.
Yeah. Not like the Jordan Pickford when he catches it and falls on the floor. Like, classic.
Yeah, that's that. Or maybe he would have a fucking career or something.
Could you imagine if he was on Sorare and he just did that for like his extra points every week? We just didn't know.
I'd be going in goals to do it. Down Big Seagrass till you jump to the floor.
Yeah, classic.
Lads, I've been told I can get this guy for 0.18 and his last sale was 0.225. Moser. I probably shouldn't be making deals with him on the podcast, but this isn't an interview podcast. This is 3 mates down the pub podcast, isn't it? Yeah. That's what we want. So I've just got a message while we're down the pub. Big Moser. The guy said to me I can have him for 0.175. I'll just say how much last offer, and his last one went for 0.225.
Have you given him a little Google just to make sure he's not like been banned forever or something like that? Like, that's quite a big drop, isn't it?
I know.
Like, that would cause me a bit of concern. I'd be like, what?
I think he's maybe going back to Union, but
right, maybe he doesn't want that risk of like not having use next season.
But honestly, I think that could be a good buy. Like, supposedly he's brilliant against Salzburg, and I know that people watch one game of people and go, he's brilliant, and it probably works out more the less he's played, because he's played 5 games since game week 186, and he conceded 2 the first time, 1, then is that a clean sheet? There's a clean sheet in it, and then Salzburg he made 8 saves. You know what I mean? It's maybe not a bad gamble to take, and if I do that and then I've got a budget of 0.5 for another goalkeeper, then
hopefully see whenever you can do too, yeah.
I'm not giving financial advice here, but I'm about to say something that might end up backfiring. I think goalkeepers will only shoot up when the commons come out. Honestly, I don't see why they wouldn't. If you've got 100 goalkeepers in your gallery, I've been trying to negotiate with the boy Volkan Babacar. See the one Babakan? Been trying to get him, and I seen somebody was selling him, and I looked at his gallery and he'd just been buying goalkeepers recently.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea, is it?
Yeah, I thought like Akinfeev like ×3. Menzel, he was a couple. I was thinking, what a business model this guy's got on him.
It's a good idea. Thing has been saying it for so long, I just didn't really pull the trigger on any of those ones that are nailed, and that's the one that people are going to want. The cheapest keeper that's nailed on every week is going to go up almost like 50 to 100% in value, I think. People like like Akinfeev. We spoke about Shunin on the podcast last week, didn't we? And I feel like he actually got dropped as well after that. Like we talked about, like the little lineup we did last week was great until Shunin got dropped. I haven't had too much luck with those underdog specials with the goalkeeper.
But the only thing about the dropping is it was last game of the season, so everybody's unpredictable.
Yeah, I think Shunin will probably be number 1 again next season. They just give him a 2-year extension.
A 2-year deal, yeah, I've seen that.
And Akinfeev got 2 years as well, right? I think. Was it 1?
So I bought him recently because it was getting to the end of the season, and I'd seen a news article saying he would verbally agreed it, but nobody was buying it. I bought him for 0.19.
Nice.
On the 10th of May, which is how long ago? 15 days ago.
Yeah.
And then he just shot right up. He's been sold the last couple of days for 0.35 and 0.34. So I doubled,
Done all right
near
there.
enough doubled in 15 days. I wish I'd got more, but obviously I've not got a crystal ball to look into, unfortunately.
Did either of you, last week we was talking about players that might get relegated, players that might, did anyone get any red crosses last week? Any relegations?
Big Boyata scored a goal and kept Hertha Berlin in the division, and that they had a relegation playoff with Hamburg. So I bottled it with playing him in the game week. I wish I did now, but he got a goal in the 4th minute or something. So Big Boyata and Hertha Berlin live to fight another day in the Bundesliga. I think a lot of people are upset by it, but I'm pretty happy for my card.
Never told you the story, but I came on against Celtic about 4 years ago with St Johnstone, and my ankle was sore. I think I was maybe on the bench. I'll give myself credit. I was maybe on the bench because my ankle was sore, right? So I went on after 2 minutes. My other ankle started hurting. I was running about like a sparrow. I was in bits. And I went to give Boyata the old shimmy, and he just went, put me right on my backside. I was gutted. After that, I thought, he's alright.
He's flattened you.
There's a couple of good scores, by the way.
Yeah.
A 63 and a 64, the last two, with a couple of 45s.
I got a super rare for 0.15. I thought that was alright.
Yeah. Can't argue with that. Yeah. I managed to, I had a bit of a result in Austria that Altac managed to stay up so that my Felix Strauss super rare is intact for next season.
Do you know what I meant to check? With that in mind, actually. I took a goalkeeper that got relegated last year and I just held on to him all season. And I think he's just been promoted from the Dutch second division back into Eredivisie.
Den Haag? Adio Den Haag, goalkeeper.
Yeah. Did they get promoted?
Yeah, I think they did.
Oh, crap.
Pretty sure they went up through the playoff.
2 seconds. I'll take a word for it, I just want to check.
Do you think there's a chance that Katarski could end up on the bench or no?
Surely maybe just leave now, right? He wouldn't go back to Ajax to just be a backup, right? Would he? I don't know. They've got a lot of goalkeepers there, haven't they?
Check his contract data on transfer market.
No, Den Haag got one more game to play.
So Den Haag, looking at that now, so that Sem Steen, who scored in the 90+2 minute against Excelsior in that first leg, I've been trying to buy him all season from people with the red cross next to his name.
Oh, that guy's injured.
He's put up. Oh, has he? So Sem Steen has been signed by FC Twente for next season. Like this was done a while back. But if you see the numbers he's put up in like the second tier of the Dutch league, they are insane. If he can, if he can do that at Twente, he'll be a card next season. But I think that most of the people who held on to him that I like put a cheeky offer in were well aware of what he was doing. Yeah. I was like, I might be able to just like give him 20 quid for him. Nah, I was trying that for about a month. Didn't get anywhere. Then left it, and then I look on like Sorare data, and someone else has managed it. I'm like, that's what I was trying to do. I love that when you spot a decent player who's got the red cross. But I didn't even know he was coming to Twente at the end of the season. I just thought Den Haag looked like they might go up, take a little punt on him because he's under 23, he's midfielder, he's like getting crazy assists and goals. But yeah, I was unlucky. But I think I'll be keeping an eye on those kind of early mints of his cards at 20 because he might be slightly under the radar because, you know, like his games won't be scored. You know, when like another league comes on and starts getting scored, you can see all of the past scores for like the last 40 games, even though they're not on the platform. But when they go into a division that's not covered like that, you don't see how good they've been. So I'm hoping that like maybe he flies under the radar. I should have probably just left this off the podcast because anyone listening now knows that Sem Steen is going to be worth a look if he's going to get in that side at 20. Do you know what? Talking about that actually, and like teams coming up and stuff. I know it's obviously like Schalke are coming back up as well, right? And quite a few good players in that like
one of their centre backs linked with Celtic as well.
He's on loan from Man City. I don't think that will go through, to be honest. He turned us down last year to do that loan to Schalke, and I don't think they've got the money to make the deal happen, is the word on the street. But I think some Bundesliga teams are interested in him. I think he will be. I think he'll play in the Bundesliga next year.
You don't think Celtic will go for him?
Nah, I don't think the boy wanted. I think when we tried to get him, he said he didn't want to come to us on a loan. I think that was part of it, and that Schalke were going to buy him. That was a big. I think that was part of it. I may be remembering that wrong. But I don't see it. The other guy we've been linked to, I'm very biased in this, but we've also been linked to Taylor Harwood-Bellis today.
Ooh.
That would be delicious, wouldn't it?
That'd be great. What's going on with Carter Vickers? Is he going back to Spurs?
No, he's signing, but we need a left-footed centre-back. You know, like Starfelt's good, but if you look at the team, I've got a video that'll be on the channel at some point talking about this, but like, if you look at the team, and you were to spend like real money on making anyone better, like you need another centre-back, you need a left-back, you need another midfielder sort of thing. So depends on where the manager thinks you get the best bang for buck on upgrades. And the fact that like for these types of modern football pressing systems and all that, like having left-footed players like in left midfield and left centre-back and right-footed on the right, like these guys like to build teams to like formulas and all that. They value that stuff so highly. And having Starfelt, even though he's been good, but having him as a right-footed centre-back, he's definitely not perfect for what they're trying to do. So if they can get a lefty in, that's a big upgrade.
And a wee bit more physicality.
Yeah, and that as well, yeah, because you need to be a big, strong centre-back, yeah.
Especially in this league, man.
But what I was going to say, I just seen that Guilherme has had a new 2-year contract as well. He's cheap as chips, if we're still thinking about cheap
Is he Locomotive? Goalkeepers. Locomotive keeper, right? Yeah, I saw that.
2-year extension he got this week.
I think with a lot of Russian clubs having the sanctions and not money, like if they're not funded by they're not going to be making many signings, so you don't have too much worry about a new keeper coming in unless it's Zenit or something like that like have that money. But there's all this talk of Krasnodar having to like lower their wage bill and stuff. So I think they might lose a few players. I was looking at Spurtsian, the young lad at Krasnodar, looks really good. Don't know what's happening with him, but
I'm waiting to see somebody actually leave Russia properly. We've seen the South Americans all like flee and go back to like Brazil and whatever and like get clubs, but we've not seen. We've seen the Georgian guy join Napoli.
No, and one that went under the radar.
What was that?
Lamkelze. Every time BT Sports was on that Lamkelze, he's scoring in the Ligue 1. Scored against Lyon, and he scored against Angersko. Remember the guy? Can you not remember him? He was at Antwerp and he turned up with an Anderlecht jersey on.
Yeah.
He got out as well. Him, and who was the other one you said? Napoli?
The Georgian guy.
Kvaratskhelia.
I think that's right, Quinny. I think this season, start of this season, there could be a lot of outgoings for that league.
I noticed that
there's not been any real because obviously the Chelsea sales just happened, but there's not been a real it's all about the transfer of money to Russia and aid in Russia by if you're going to sign players, how's football teams aren't just going to bend over and let other players walk out the door for nothing, Zachariah and Safanov and the likes, So
I noticed as well that
it's a real grey spot.
Quite a few of the what's the word? I always forget this name. Sorry, it's let me get it. Shakhtar Donetsk. I always forget. But quite a few of those players have either moved on now or are linked. I saw that like Mana Solomon's been linked to a couple clubs. Leverkusen are going to buy the young midfield lad, didn't they? What's his name? Yeah,
I seen that. I went to go and try and buy him on the cheap, but he's not cheap anymore.
He's definitely not cheap anymore. Yeah, I was looking because I used to have Mikolenko during the Euros. And he was a great card, and I wonder and at the time he was being linked to Spurs and a few other clubs, but I haven't seen him linked anywhere. But I was looking at him; his card still looks like quite obtainable, and he is like a Ukrainian international who's likely to be of use to someone. Fernando, the forward, he's gone to Salzburg.
Yeah,
so quite a lot of there are quite a lot of good players there.
Your man could be a good buy. Talking about Ukraine. Yaremchuk from Benfica.
Yeah, he's at Benfica, right?
Because he's not really playing at Benfica, but it's World Cup's coming up, and they're hoping to be in it. He could probably end up getting a move, no?
Do you think he'll play more, but if Darwin leaves?
No, I think they're trying to sign Is it your mate? No, that's Enzo. Is it Enzo, the midfielder? I think
Enzo Fernandez from River Plate, yeah. I've seen
maybe
that.
That's it,
one
yeah.
more.
They're after the guy Celtic wants for left back as well, I hear.
Are they? Grimaldo might go. Grimaldo's been linked with Barca and all sorts in the last couple of months.
Grimaldo's good, isn't he?
He's good. He's a good scorer on this as well. I remember I had him for a bit.
I've got Yaremchuk. I still hold one. I've had him for ages. But I thought when he moved to Benfica, he'd be the boy. I was really surprised how much he was rotated, to be honest. But I think that like the system they play is different. He was great at Ghent.
They've got a new manager now, haven't they?
The PSV guy.
Yeah. Be interesting to see. Talking of Benfica, are you wearing a Benfica shirt there, Tony?
Yeah, I got one the other day.
Nice.
Was this on the stag do?
That's what it is,
on the stag do, aye.
How was the stag do?
Benfica top with Everton in the back.
Hey.
So nice. I just thought I would probably made the wrong decision because I went out and bought Rafa the next day. I could have ended up with him in the back. I bought him, lads. I've been doing a lot of Challenger buying. I know we're probably going to wrap this up soon, but just before we do, I want to tell you I'm addicted to buying Challenger players.
You're probably going to see me bidding against you on a few of them because I'm definitely in the market for a few more challengers because I'm worried about a lot of my good ones leaving for Champ as well, and I'm not so interested in Champ unless you've got a massive stack. It's hard to compete.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at my Champ players and I'm almost like, like Mazraoui's moved to Bayern now. I've got 2 Mazraoui and I'm like,
oh, beautiful, mate.
great card. But there's that worry is I don't think he's going to be rotated. I think he gets in ahead of Pavard. But
yeah,
do I hold on to him, get rid of him beginning of the season before the new mints come out? Or
I think what we might see with Bayern, to be honest with you, is I think they might properly go to like a 3 at the back next year. I think Mazraoui and Davis right and left is going to
be banging. Yeah,
those.
Yeah,
that would suit. I've got Musiala as well, so like I've got the beginnings there of the bones of like maybe I pick up a Neuer and yeah.
I know you need to show your liver for that.
Yeah, I know. I've got some good cards in Champ. I've got Wirtz. I've got loads of but they're like it's impossible. I say this, and then I can't compete. I very rarely win anything in Champ Euro because if you haven't got PSG stack, you're not getting in the top 20. Like. You can't compete with Mbappe and Neymar up top or Mbappe and Messi. And most of the players who win or play Champ have a Bayern stack or a PSG stack or a Real Madrid or Liverpool. If you haven't got a stack of those, it's so hard. And I've got like Tony Kroos, I've got Chiesa, I've got Kimpembe, I've got Koulibaly, got Di Lorenzo, Tomori. Like I've got really good players in Champ, but I can't compete. It don't make any sense.
Well, can I tell you my thoughts on Champ Euro in that way?
Yes, please do.
See, the way I've been thinking about it for probably the last certainly the last 7 months, right? It's Champion Euro, as we know, is the top 5 leagues. We're only got 4 of them now, and we don't even have a full 4. We've got two fulls, and then we've got most of the Liga and most of Serie A. Everyone's expecting the Prem and all that kind of stuff. If you get the Premier League on, the reward pool then goes up by 25%. In terms of like how many teams, players, all that stuff that can get dished out, as well as obviously cards that can be bought to be played in and all the rest of it. But like I think for the Champ Euro teams that I've always had, and I've not ever had like the best ones, but I've always got like good guys that can do it. You can get in, you can get close to now. And it's not really that, you do need to get those guys to win every week. But I think if you've got enough options to dance around fixtures, you can definitely make it worthwhile. The problem is having enough options to dance around fixtures isn't cheap either. And it's one of those ones you either buy the guy that's 2 ETH or you buy 3 guys that's an ETH and a half, and then you pick who's got the best fixture, which isn't, it's a different game in itself. So it's kind of one of those ones I'm kind of hoping mainly that the Prem comes on in the next 6 months, and then I think Champion Euro changes overnight in a lot of people's point of view in terms of reward payouts and all that jazz.
It's a good point, actually. It's made me think that because I initially sold my Lukaku a month or so back with the intention of buying like a Fekir instead, and now I'm like, maybe I just go and do that because otherwise I've got to wait for Chiesa to come back and hope that he slots straight back in at Juve.
Yeah, he'll be back in, mate. He's
He
amazing.
Chukwueze's top shelf.
Yeah.
I'm trying to move on my Diogo Jota at the moment because I think like Diaz is going to keep him out. I think he's going to be too rotation. He's a great player, but unless they move on like Mane at the end of the season, which is one of the things that's maybe linked, I just see like Jota becoming a bit of a rotation risk, and I don't think you can afford that in Champ.
No, you need guys that start and hit.
I think Fekir for the money. I mean, his price is rising. I was waiting for it to come down, but I might just have to pull the trigger on that one and get it done before things get too silly.
His been fantastic for Betis. They'll be, Betis will be really interesting to follow next year, having won the cup this year. Like Pellegrini they've got some good players. If they go in, maybe get a wee bit stronger, they could be really fun. And the thing with Fekir as well is he's like so repeatable. He'd be like Depay if he never left Lyon. You just know that they can finish mid-table. He is going to bang in 80 points a lot.
Definitely. He's got that all-around game, hasn't he? Like you said, he's very similar to that Depay at Lyon, that kind of scoring. Like 55 all-around on a bad game. 55, score on a bad game. If he bangs a decisive, he's an 80 plus most of the time. I've got to do it. I need to do it. Maybe I do it then. There's me talking about selling all my champ players, and now I'm going to go and drop an ETH on.
By the way, just for the record, I've made my champ contingent really lean. Like, I don't really have that much, but I've got like that's what I've tried to do with it. Is just tried to make sure that's what I try and do with all the regions. Is make sure I've got a little bit of something going on, so that if things were to change, or I wanted to do more than kind of changing between regions isn't that hard. If you kind of keep global at the center of it,
I've got too many defenders, too many champ defenders, but that's mostly down to like winning, like Gvardiol winning.
Nice.
I've won a bunch of like champ Tomori, like good champ defenders. So I've just ended up with too many. And now Mazraoui's moved from challenger to champ. I'm like overrun with champ defenders. So I need
23
to,
as well, Stish.
Yeah.
Those guys you named.
23 is great. Like having Gvardiol there, like amazing. I use him mostly in 23s. Like he will probably be like my go-to 23 defender next season. I think if he stays where he is, he's a great scorer, a great team. They're getting European football again next season, so we've got the midweek there. Yeah, he's not going anywhere. I think Tomori is going to be a beast next season. I think he was a beast. He loses his U23, but I don't think he'll lose much value in that sense. That I'm losing a fair few U23 defenders. I've got obviously 2 Mazraouis, Boscagli, Tomori, all losing U23. So I may even be...
Are they all aging out? I didn't realise that.
Yeah, all aging out. Sangare ages out in midfields. I'm losing a lot of my go-tos. I'm a bit worried about Szymanski as well. I think he's off to Seville, apparently.
Oh, really? Oh, wow, that'd be a great move for him.
Do you think he'll get in? Do you think he'll start?
Mate, yeah.
Oh, I won't sell him if he's going to start.
Oh, mate, that's a great move. Szymanski to Seville, that's fantastic.
If that goes ahead, apparently they announced it that he was leaving and that the cup final was going to be his last game for Dinamo. Like the manager announced it on television.
So is that a transfer fee? Is he out of contract? What's the script?
Good question. I don't know. I just seen a lot of links to Seville, a lot of the sort of like transfer Twitter channels saying
sure
he's going to Sevilla. Like,
oh yeah.
So yeah, if you think, I mean, you know La Liga better than I do. If you think that's a good move, maybe I'll hold on to him. Yeah,
for sure. Like Seville need a better midfield, and I won't go into it, bore you to death, but that'd be a great transfer if it went through.
I had a little look at like their kind of starting 11. They have got some good midfielders, but nothing that creative. And I thought
the best creative ones are old. Rakitic and Papu Gomez.
Rakitic, that was it. Yeah, that was who I was looking at. And I thought, does he get in ahead of him?
Rakitic plays all the big games. Papu Gomez is never always fit. And then the other guys are all okay, but they're not creative.
That's all I need to hear then. Maybe I'll hold on to him. Take him off the market quickly before someone hears the podcast and buys him. But yeah, I think that's where I'm at. I think we're coming towards the end of it. But Quinny, you're going to be rapping for us this week. I think that might be something you got to edit in, right?
I could only come up with 2 lines. I can't believe I picked Fragapane. I feel like a fanny. This is the worst. I could have picked Wout Weghorst. I could only come up with 2 lines and I'm kind of stuck, so I don't know.
Oh, I look forward to it. Are you gonna send that over to us and edit it in at the end for the
I'll just
video?
put it in at the intro or something.
Yeah.
I've only got 2 lines.
We'll
I
get
don't
you
know.
to sing a Rangers song.
A Rangers
no.
song.
I can
Have
do
we
that.
got?
I don't know
Have
the
we got a
words.
chat? Have we got a quick challenge to squeeze in for this episode, Tony? Have you had any?
Yeah,
I've
I've
not
got
had a
2, I think, because I'm definitely not letting you away.
Quinny's got to try it. Yeah. He can't get the hat trick.
I think what league are you playing this week?
There's not a lot
He's in
going on, is there?
America.
We've got to go look at Asia or America now.
This weekend, I've got All Stars and U23.
Have you not got an America?
No.
Oh,
Well, I do have an All Star team. It's an America team.
All Americans.
All
We pick an
MLS
American?
players. Yep, an All Star.
So we could maybe do America.
What's
Full
the
lineup.
a full lineup?
We'll take a screenshot of our lineup and we'll put it in here in our group chat and we'll put it on Twitter. And
Cool.
the
We can edit it in, yeah.
Yeah, I've got 5 boys that are due to hit form because they're all expensive, but they've all been nothing short of rubbish.
Are we talking about from our galleries, or are we talking about?
Yeah, like one that we're going to submit.
Are
Do
you
you know
playing
what?
Champion America Stish this week?
Do you know what? Do I? I think I've got a team, but I don't think I'm like targeting it because I'm
Look, if
probably
you want
weeks.
to win the challenge that badly, you can go and just pick 5 players for America and cheat, but it's fine.
I'm
Sure,
down.
ball.
No. I'm all right. I tell you what, though.
What about All Star
we were saying-
Limited? Is everyone playing All
I
Star
noticed
Limited?
as well. You can see now on Sorare how your mates are doing. You know, we were saying the other week about it. I can't remember how I did
Yeah.
it, but it was like see how you're doing against your mates in this
Leaderboard.
division.
Yeah,
When I clicked
it's
into
on the
it.
lobby now. You're right, Stish.
Yeah.
Nice.
Where is it? On the lobby, yeah.
Oh
Live.
yeah, 107th you
Leaderboard.
finished. Oh yeah, 107th to now.
Oh yeah, look, leaderboard, and then go friends only, so we can see how you're doing against your mates in that division. So if we're all entering, we'll easily be able to see who's winning. But if we're not entering, we can just track it in WhatsApp easily enough.
Right, that's fine.
That's good though,
Perfect.
isn't it? It's a nice addition. That it means I've now got to unfollow a load of people that I follow for no reason. Like, I think I follow people to see who they were buying. You know, like the whales, like Kurupu. I must have followed him just to see who he's buying. But yeah, I've got some random people in there actually whose scores are coming up. I'm not sure why I follow them, but
Problem, guys. So what are we sticking on for the challenge? Sorry, what division? All Star.
All Star, we'll put it in the chat by close of play Friday morning.
Cool.
And then
All Star Rare. Or
All-Star
Limited?
Rare,
All
yeah.
Star. I'll go a full American team, but we can do an All Star.
All Star
just
Rare.
put it in All Star, yeah.
Whoever ranks
So
the best.
Whoever ranks the best, whoever ranks the worst, what's the forfeit?
Or we putting our team in All Star.
Yeah. Just an All Star between the 3 of us. Whoever comes last.
Signings I need to make again.
All
What's
Star
the
Rare.
what's the
I'm going to
forfeit?
come last because my team's a bag of jaggies.
As long as I don't come last, I'll be happy.
So long as I don't have to rap, I think you've definitely lost the worst one there. Like I was
I think,
actually sweating about that this weekend. All right, I think that the challenge for the loser is what could it be? What can a challenge be?
Up to you, boys.
Maybe we get people to like comment on Twitter, and
Yeah,
we'll
get
choose
that
one.
up.
We'll choose one, and we'll announce what like the loser had to do at the beginning of next week's podcast. Yeah, we'll put it out to
Perfect.
like the community, so long as it doesn't involve drinking, because that's not fair. Tony will be drinking shots of water.
I will say it's vodka, but reality TV.
Magic.
Spot on, boys. It's been a pleasure as always.
Have a good
Yeah.
game week, guys.
Take care.
Okay.
Good luck.
Right, lads.